We're here in Glasgow on this beautiful summer afternoon. We're going to go and catch up with Ian and Lynn from Linian Fire Clips. So Lynn, Ian, thanks. We finally got the chance to drop in and see you here. I guess the clues in the name, we're at Linian, and the name comes from Lynn and Ian. So Lynn, I guess start a bit of your background really. So you've ended up in the glamorous world of cable fixings, but where did you start?
So I started off working in our family wholesalers for 8 years after I left school. It was supposed to be a summer job, but it turned out I loved construction so much that I stayed in it. And then I decided to have a bit of a change to go out and learn some other skills and went into the whisky industry. And I was sales and operations manager for a UK company, a Spanish company. And then I moved into plant and tools, again, back into construction. It's really where my heart lay, it's what I knew, it's what I wanted to do. And I ended up here at Linian after having my little boy.
Right. So, I mean, I still can't get over the fact you left the whisky to come back into construction. We'll revisit that. We'll revisit that. Ian, and you believe you started as an electrician?
Yeah, I'm a spark to trade. I left a couple of years after finishing my apprenticeship to go into an electrical design role when I was a consultant engineer for best part of 10 years, up to senior engineer.
Okay, so I mean, I guess between you, that's a great set of skills because you know the industry from the wholesale end all the way to the specifier end.
It's had its advantages, yeah, you could definitely say that. I think, what we rely on Ian heavily for is his technical expertise and his knowledge of the regulations and things like that. And for me, I just really like to get out and talk to people, and I love working with the wholesalers and I love working with the end users and letting them know about the product.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, that skill set of, so you understand everything from the challenges the specifier has to the challenges all the way through the supply chain to what the electrician has to deal with on site. I guess you couldn't have invented a better set of skills.
Could have been born with them.
I think we realised we're quite lucky in that respect of kind of separately come up these paths and then been able to come together into this venture.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, when we're looking at obviously, where did the idea for the fire clip come from?
So it was our dad. So we actually come from a pedigree of electrical wholesalers. The business was going for over 30 years, which is just about how long I was, born, the length of time I've been on this planet. And before that, we've been engineers, we've been electricians, we've been, always within the industry, to be honest with you, shipbuilders, things like that. So it was just a kind of natural step or succession for us to go into this kind of business. And Dad invented the product in 2006. He had a customer that come to him. He was a bit of a fixings guru kind of here in Glasgow, and you would often get project managers from some of the big consultancy companies or the big engineering companies coming in, wouldn't they? And they'd sit down, have a coffee and a chat and say, right, this is what we need to do and this is what we're working on. And that's what he was asked for, was a quicker way to install cables. And that's how he came up with Linian. He designed it and developed it, and the rest is history, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the traditional way of fixing is essentially a P-clip, a hole in the wall, and a screw and a plug.
Yeah, and if you think about the time involved in installing a cable, with clips at appropriate centres to, at that time the product was invented to solve that need, to solve the need to install cable quicker when you're installing kilometres of cable with clips at 300mm centres. But it evolved naturally over time, and then with the recent changes to the regulations in 2015 and again in January this year, really the technology is applicable for now the safety element. It's a fire resistant clip, but also still offering the advantage of saving time, allowing people to be more compliant, but keeping their margins as well.
Okay, I mean, when you look at the product, it's actually one of those products that's dead simple. Why didn't anybody else have the idea? But obviously, have you managed to protect that concept?
Yeah, the product's patented. Yeah, we've got multiple patents on the same product, to be honest with you. And we've been working hard to make sure that we continue to develop products with patents and with intellectual property, and continue to try and be innovative and bring different solutions to the market. So.
And it's basically the biggest pitch is its time-saving abilities for the contractor.
Yeah, well, I think the way that we look at it, we often get asked, why is it so quick to install? Well, you don't have multiple components, it's directly fixed within the substrate, and if you look at it 3 times faster. It was tested by the University of Strathclyde here in Scotland, and it's a university that's known for engineering throughout the world, and they basically found that it was 3 times faster to install, which means a job that would take you 3 hours takes you an hour, or a job that would cost you £90 in labour costs you £30 in labour, so that's really where your saving is.
So the clips themselves, they're all made in the UK?
Yep, everything we do is manufactured in the UK. Our whole supply chain is located here in the UK, and it's a commitment that we've got to keep our manufacturing here in the UK, create jobs, and more importantly, bring skill back into the manufacturing industry in the UK.
Okay, so people never tempted to obviously, go offshore production, try and hit the price points, or.
I think a lot of people, in our industry who are manufacturing products sort of are tempted by that and give into that temptation. I suppose what we're trying to say is that, with a quality product, there does become a little bit of a price tag with that, but what you're doing is you're making sure you're buying a quality product, you're supporting the economy that comes around manufacturing these things in the UK as well, and for us that's a really big part of what we do.
Yeah. Also part of our business is about, the carbon footprint of stuff coming in from offshore and things like that. We're very serious about that, so for us to be able to manufacture here, it means that we can react quickly. So if there is a problem, which there hasn't been, but if there is a problem, that we know that it's a case of jumping in the car, and just going to where we need to go to.
Yeah. And obviously we know there's a top secret process that takes place in the building that nobody's supposed to see. It's like
even you.
It's like the KFC recipe or the Coca-Cola recipe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Has that been a driver as well? Not to let that show how. Obviously, you've got lots of patents, but not let that show how out of the business as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's taken us a long time to get the product right for the market, and we had really big ambitions for what we wanted this product to do. So yeah, it saves time and saves money, and it's fire resistant and all that sort of stuff. But we wanted it to look good. So we want electricians to do their best job, and we think the products that they use have to support that as well. So that was a big driver in it as well. But also the challenges you get within product development, like when we developed the super clips and realised that they had to be struck with a hammer to put them into the wall, unlike the smaller clips which you can push in with your hand. We then had to look at something, a coating on the clip which could be struck with a hammer without being damaged, and all that sort of thing. So all that learning experience that we've had over that time, we keep it pretty close to the chest.
I think one of our mentors said to us, what was it, don't let everybody peek too far under your bathrobe. So
yeah,
we've taken that advice to heart.
That's a good bit. I didn't realise you had to hit the clip with a hammer on the bigger clip.
On the super clips, yeah, they'll take a slight chat with a hammer just to get them in, but then it's symptomatic of having basically a double pull-out force on the super clips. They're called super clips because they're super.
Yeah.
44 kilo pull-out load on them, so it takes a little bit extra to get them in.
Well, so I mean, obviously the first application was driven by the fire clips and those fire resistant cables, but now the range is expanding all the time. I mean, how far has it gone so far?
Yeah, so I mean, we started off with what we call the fire clip range, which is, was designed around FP200 fire alarm cabling, fire alarm systems and that sort of thing. But, it's basically for any type of round cable now between a 4mm overall diameter and a 12mm overall diameter. And then to complement that, we've got kind of 2 further ranges now. One is the super clip range, which I've just spoken about, which are bigger, larger clips. They can be used as cleats for armoured cabling. They can be used as conduit saddles for larger or bunched multiple cables. And they've got a 44 kilo pull-out load compared to the 25 kilo from the fire clip as well. So nice big robust fixings they are. And then finally we've got the twin and earth range as well now for flat twin and CPC cabling. And we cover sort of all sizes within that range as well.
Okay. We also see clients, end user clients using our product as a fixing for other things, so where they'll maybe use stainless steel cable ties for maybe larger bunches of cable with that type of pull-out load in the littlest clip of a bag of cement effectively. They're quite confident that they can support the weight of the cables adequately.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're going into armoured cable. What's the biggest armoured cable you got up to now? Is it?
Well, anything was up to 25 mil overall diameter. So, yeah.
And is that going to carry on increasing as it goes on?
That's the idea, yeah. We're working on larger diameter clips, but also changing some other things about the clips as well, based on the feedback we've had back from the market for end users. One that we could say to you is, perhaps looking at a clip that they could pull cables through, using it as an aid for wiring. So all these sorts of things are with our development lab, which we can't show you either.
That's all right. But I love that. Obviously, the product started with customers coming in with a problem, and you've managed to maintain that. Customers giving you feedback. Is that important for you to maintain that relationship with the end user?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. I mean, it's why we do these shows as well. We don't sell product on the day or anything other than just to make you aware of the product. But in terms of physically, taking transactions for product, it's not something that we do. And the feedback that we get at these shows is invaluable, to be honest. Even the Twin and Earth range was born out of a customer saying, I don't really want to use nailing clips anymore. Can you just bring out a range for Twin and Earth? And we looked at pricing points and things of some imported products, and we thought, well, I don't know, but they seem to be really popular. Customers are using them, they want to use them. In fact, I'm sure some of your colleagues have done some other tests and things on them. So they're pretty robust little fixings for what they're looking for. But that's absolutely why we do these shows. It's about brand awareness for us, but it's to get the product in the hands of the people that are using them ultimately to find out if they work or not.
Okay, and I mean, obviously people who've come from a fire alarm background understand where they're coming from in terms of the problem.
Yeah.
But obviously we've had a change in regulations that's bringing a whole, basically exploded the market for the clips. But how's the feedback from people who possibly do still use nailing clips to the wall? What's their kind of, where are they up to?
There's always, I think, unfortunately, what we find in our market is there appears to be different tiers of compliance. The larger contractors with more focus on them, with more tend to be, and they're not 100% like this, but they tend to be more on the compliant side. So they'll use 100% metal clips on all cables in all the areas for comfort and for security and to do the best installation. But then there's others out there in the world who will do the bare minimum required to comply with their interpretation of the regs, so the feedback we get from the market is that, if they're using a nail-in clip at the moment, some people are desperately seeking an 18th edition compliant solution to that, knowing that a nail-in clip is no longer compliant, whereas some are unfortunately at the other end of the market are just completely ignoring the regulation altogether and doing whatever they see fit, so.
I think the biggest thing about our Twin and Earth range is it's got the same testing behind it, the same backup, if you want, behind it as the current range of fire clip products. So, it can be used outside, it can be used inside because we've had it corrosion protection and tested. We've also got the fire testing, the impact and testing on it. So it's comfort at the end of the day there. And we had this conversation earlier, there are some people in the industry that will live and breathe their eggs and know what's coming out before it's even published, and then there are other people that just, as Ian says, want to do the bare minimum, which is it's their choice at the end of the day. It's their installation, it's their project, it's their responsibility. But what we've got now is a suite of products that can take you from a 1 mil Twin and Earth right up to a 25 mil OD armoured cable or conduit.
So it's a metal clip, but obviously saying you can use them outside. I mean, does that make people a bit nervous? Thinking I'm going to have a rusty stained wall in a few years' time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that again, we spoke about the challenges that we faced in developing the product, and that's another thing we had to look at when we were trying to find a suitable coating for the product. So, our coating is Salisbury resistant to an automotive standard, so in the sense that it can really take that external sort of weather damage to the same standard that your car can, and that was important to us. And I think a lot of the installers out there who are installing cable clips are conscious of these things, when they're using plastic fixings. We had a customer who came to us and is a big advocate of our product because he lives on the Isle of Man and he works on the Isle of Man, and the whole of the Isle of Man is on the coast. There's a mountain in the middle, and his issues with plastic plugs deteriorating, plastic clips and plugs deteriorating very quickly in that environment, and metals rusting very quickly, and has found the solution in our product. 1,000-hour salt spray standard, and it's UV stable as well. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, that's there's a man who knows his rust if he lives by the sea.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you've also got some other approvals as well. You work on the London Underground. Is that
Yeah, we've got that. We've got our London Underground approval recently, very recently.
Yeah, so we had in the early days we undertook some testing to London Underground standards, and very recently gained the approvals for use on there as well. But there's no because this is a new area of the market, there's no sort of set standards for fire clips, for fire rated cable clips. So we kind of went out to the market to see what would be best to try and kind of assimilate our product to. And what we found was the standard for FP200 cable was, you know, a good standard to kind of try and align ourselves with. You know, if it's good enough for the cable, it's good enough for the clip type thing. So we worked with Exova Warrington Fire and developed a sort of ad hoc version of that test, which could be used to improve the integrity of our clips. So that was a 1,000 degree 2-hour burn test with salt water, jets involved, and the mechanical shock element as well, which we certify our clips to that standard as well. And we've also undertaken the European equivalent, the DIN standard for that as well.
I think importantly as well, the coating that we've developed ourselves is low smoke, zero halogen as well, so no toxicity in environments like tunnels and things like that. So that's super important if you're working in places like London Underground.
Yeah, I mean they have pretty rigorous standards, so that's a great endorsement for the product to get in there. So.
I think that's what we do at Linian, is we strive for the best, to be honest with you, because, you know, if we strive for the best tests and the best standards, the best that we can do physically with the product, then it means that the electrician or the installer that's using it is protected. You know, they've got that manufacturer backup. You know, we're available. Yeah, you know, it's not just down to them if they use Linian. I mean, we've got clients that will use a kind of van pack type idea where every van's kitted out with every range of Linian product, because it doesn't matter what job they get to, they don't have to worry about this compliance thing anymore. Apart from the fact it's 3 times faster, I think that's maybe a bigger driving force behind anything. But certainly, you know, the peace of mind there when they get to any jobs that they're covered.
Mm-hmm. So Ian, you touched on European standards. Does that mean obviously you're interested in markets beyond the UK, even though we'll be an independent country soon, allegedly, whatever?
You're in Scotland and maybe not going to that level of politics here.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we're looking to, you know, focus on what we're doing here in the UK and take the lessons that we've learned and kind of try and push out beyond. We already have established a bit of a market in Ireland, and we're continuing to grow that as well. And we do sell into pockets of Europe as well at the moment. But I think once, you know, we've got the products range embedded into the UK market, we're definitely going to try and take that further afield. And so we've secured some intellectual property in different areas throughout the world as well that we're looking to target.
Okay. I mean, do you find the world, are we following the rest of the world, or the rest of the world following us, or is it just?
I think it varies standard to standard. Yeah, I really do. I think that where the fire rated fixings are concerned, we are both behind and ahead, depending on where you're comparing us to. But the larger territories within Europe seem to be just a little bit further ahead. But you know, there's other areas which are miles behind as well. You know, so it's very subjective, I think.
I think, to be fair, we've done a lot of supported, you know, missions across or trade missions across to these territories, and when we've got there, they're kind of like, well, we do that already. That's just our standard method of installation, is to use a metal clip. We don't use plastic in any substrates. So that kind of, you know, made us look more at the time saving for them, which they're really interested in. But definitely the no plastic in the substrate, no plastic clips in the bigger territories Ian's talking about.
Yeah, oh, well, that's good. I mean, the other thing about the clips, when you look at them when they're installed, is it's incredibly neat. Do you find that something that works with like the architect and the specifier?
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, up until working as a consultant engineer, I don't think I'd ever had anybody ever come in and try and sell me cable clips or you know, had any real interest in them whatsoever. But now, you know, speaking to specifiers here in Scotland, they are interested in that aesthetic and the compliance side and the labour saving as well. So the aesthetic for us is in the way that the clips look. It's a massive selling point. People take pride in their work, and our clip can definitely add to that, because you know, there's no screws on site. The cable looks as if it's floating against the wall sometimes. You know, it can be a really neat job.
Certainly with the bigger clips, the super clips, you know, for the conduit applications and the armour cable, you've not got screws on each side and things like that. So we're finding that it's a really big aesthetically pleasing option for a lot of the designers out there.
More and more exposed services jobs as well. It seems to be very fashionable now to have exposed services, industrial chic they call it, I think.
It's illegal in some parts of London to open a cafe without a
Yeah.
workshop.
or a microbrewery.
Definitely. You'll do well in that one. Perhaps you need to make them bigger looking though. That's too neat. That's good. So I mean, to close, you know, what's the next step for the business? You know, you've had a fantastic start.
Yeah.
Regulations are on your side. What's next?
Well, I mean, we've got kind of twofold approach to that. What we want to do is keep supporting the customers who are using Linian at the moment and give them new products along the same vein to help make their installations faster, safer, simpler. So that's new cable clips and new forms of cable management, but also some side things that we're working on as well, which are for electricians who are going to make their projects faster, safer, simpler, but they're not necessarily cable clips.
Okay.
So we're not restricting ourselves in any ways, and we're just trying to keep bringing innovative problems. We keep trying to bring innovative solutions to problems to the market.
Oh wow!
I think as well, we're also being asked a lot to collaborate with a lot of the bigger manufacturers now who are kind of coming to us and saying, oh, you guys saw this a few years ago coming, and maybe we weren't quite up to speed on where we should have been, and you know, would you work with us now? So we're kind of working on a few angles there as well, a few kind of opportunities, should I say.
Good. And your dad's still inventing in the background?
Sure is, yeah, he sure is. He's always scribbling something on a pad or on a piece of paper, to be honest with you. But
drives my mum mad.
Yeah, definitely. We've been kind of working with him so closely over the last 3-4 years as well. It's been rubbing off as well. I mean, Lynn's developed some pretty cool ideas that we're going to be taking forward as well. As have I, as have other people that work in here who've never been electricians, and to use a good Glasgow expression, couldn't have put a nut in a monkey's mouth up until now, and they're in here going, do you know what, actually I looked at that and I've got a great idea, and some of it's great. But to be honest with you, we want to appeal to the market as well, because our flagship product, the Linian Fire Clip's been developed out of someone coming to us with a problem needing solved. Not that we want to take on everyone's problems, but if you're looking for a solution, or if you've got an idea that you think solves a problem, do you know what I mean, then yeah, we want to talk to people like that, because that's what gets it.
I think Ian and I have been brought up to think outside the box from a really, really early age, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, because we tend to overcomplicate silly things, because we'll be like, but there must be a better way to do that, when there's really not. That's just the best way to do it. But as Ian said, we're always working away in the background, and we've got a few ideas of our own, so it doesn't just stop with Dad, which is good.
That's good. Well, on that bombshell, if you've got any problems out there, just send them in to Lynn and Ian, and they'll try their best to very help. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers, thanks for coming.